Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
Welcome to the Parafair today. And today's topic is love yourself first. And as I look at this topic, it's a very interesting topic because I fell into this trap the last few months and I was not loving myself as much as I should. So let's listen to our story. We'll be right back in a few minutes to talk about more things about loving yourself first. So enjoy our story.
I've lost jobs, places to live, friends and family members, but I always thought I could power through. One day, though, I hit a wall and I just couldn't get over it. I was sad, tired, angry, frustrated, mean to myself, and then I stopped reading, writing, and lost interest in all of the things that used to bring me joy. I have a friend who was trying to help me feel better because, after a particularly bad day, I had decided to take time off work to get help and spend some time figuring out why I was crying and not sleeping well and just generally miserable. I've never taken time off and it felt strange. I told her I had submitted paperwork to my boss and I had no idea what I was doing. She texted me back, "It is uncharted territory, but you know what you are doing. You are going to take care of yourself." I replied that it felt more like I was giving up. She texted, "You are not giving up, you're starting to fight. You are fighting for your well-being." I took a screenshot of the thread and it is now the wallpaper for the lock screen on my phone, so I remember that no matter what it looks or feels like, I'm fighting for my well-being. When an ex learned I was dating my current boyfriend, he sent an email warning that I was broken and a lot to deal with. I suffer from PTSD, and that ex had supported me through nights filled with flashbacks and weeks ruled by my depression. We broke up because of distance, not my mental health. To learn that perhaps someone who I believed loved me only loved parts of me destroyed my self-confidence. I never had a eureka light bulb moment, but somewhere along my journey of processing that email, I realized the broken parts of me did not define me and did not dictate my worthiness of receiving love, even love for myself. My confidence, my energy, my perception of my health and physical attractiveness is all a product of my inner voice, and the version of the story I narrate. Yes, people can say or do things that influence how you perceive yourself, but ultimately, my relationship with myself, my acceptance of my gifts and faults, is what drives my perception of self-worth. The nicer I am to myself, the more I surround myself with thoughts, people, and beliefs that promote a positive self, and the better I feel. Like all relationships, the one I'm in with myself requires patience, kindness, and faithfulness in order to flourish. When I was a teenager, I finally was given my own room. There I could decorate, arrange furniture, play music to please myself, and escape from whatever chaos was present in the rest of the house and with my family. I had a favorite picture on my wall, and every year on my birthday I would write myself a letter and hide it behind that picture, until my next birthday. It was like opening a special present to myself. I could see how I had grown over the past year and how many goals I had achieved. I learned that it was okay to take care of me and that I would be a better daughter, sister, friend because of it.
Welcome back from our story. And as I listen to that story, and this always reminds me to love myself first. Great story, great way to motivate yourself. But as I look at it, and we look at the things that we're going to cover today, and we're talking about put yourself first, eliminate negative comments and self-talk. So as I look at this first thing that we're going to do is putting yourself first. Putting yourself first it's not a self, and a lot of times we think that if we put ourselves first, it's a very selfish way. It's a very selfish thing that we're doing, is putting ourselves first in front of anything that else that is, in front of us. But I realize if I don't put myself first, I will begin to neglect a lot of things that I really like to do. I noticed in the last couple of months, I've been kind of tailing off with my podcast a little bit. And I said, you know what? I've been doing other projects for other people. They don't seem to have the same urgency as I do. I would create the podcast for them, put it together for them, and they would never post it. And it wasn't even my work, it was their work. And I said, well, okay. And I would remind them, they still wouldn't do it. So that's okay. No big deal. So as I went about my way and I said, you know what? The main thing is you need to put your podcast first before anything else. All this other stuff, depending on people that put stuff out for you, don't worry about them. As long as you can control the situation, you can control putting the podcast out, it's going to be fine. Because what I was doing was I was neglecting my users. But not my users, but my viewers and the people who look for my podcast on a daily basis. Because what I was doing, one time I was publishing almost every single day. And I was like, wow. Then I stopped. I said, 3 times a week. Then I went down to like 1 time a week. And then I realized people kept emailing me and say, you know what? I need to hear something new every day. And it wasn't many people, but a lot of people were just saying, we need more content every day. And I said, no problem. It takes me a little while to set up, gives me time to voice what's going on in my mind. But I had to start putting myself first, putting my listeners first instead of someone else. And I realized that the first podcast that I need to put out every day is for me. It's for my listeners. It's not for anyone else. If I get to that one, I get to it. It's nice that people want me to produce and all this other stuff for them. But I have to make sure that my listeners are taken care of first. And so that's what a lot of times in life, we seem to neglect ourselves. We seem to neglect things that are in front of us because we think, well, let me help this person over here because they seem to, they can do so much for me. Or, and then we end up not doing anything whatsoever. They end up disappointing us. So I know myself, if I don't put the podcast up, I don't upload the podcast, the only person I'm going to be upset with is myself because it's all in my hands. I don't worry about what other people can control. And a lot of times when we try to put ourselves first, there are going to be people, and not just people, but they're like, wow, why do you think that what are you doing is so important? And what I'm doing is really not that important. It's not that we think things are important. It's just that you have to take care of yourself. And what I mean by taking care of yourself is the more that you can be self-sufficient, more that you can do on your own, the more that you can not rely on someone to give you a ladder or something to always depend on them to prop you up. And I see a lot of times that's what happens to a lot of people is we depend on certain people. And I know here in America, not just America, but in the world, as this podcast goes around the world, a lot of times I want to go to the movies. And I'm thinking, wow, my wife at the time, she's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. And I was like, I really want to see the movies. So sometimes, this is some things that you have to do, put yourself first. Sometimes I would just go to a matinee by myself. And a lot of people will tell me, you actually went to the movies by yourself? I go, yeah, what's the big deal? I go, I would never do anything like that. That's just too dangerous for me. I say, you're in a movie, you're just sitting there. They go, no, I need someone to go to the movies with me. And I realize there's a lot of people out there, they're depending on another person to give them happiness in life. And that's really unfortunate, but that's how it is for a lot of people. They're waiting for someone to say, all right, let's do this. And then even if you do have a good idea and you say, hey, let's do this, they're like, no, I don't know. And then you end up not doing it too. But you got to do what's best for you and yourself. Don't wait around for people to do everything for you. The next thing I want to talk about is eliminating negative comments. Eliminating negative comments. A lot of times, as we are talking about loving yourself first, you're going to hear people who are going to say things about you, who are going to say a lot of things about you that really have nothing to do with you. They're just lashing out. They're just saying things to you because they want to make you feel bad about your situation. They want to make you feel bad that, that you're smiling, you're happy, and you're going about your way. And I realize that I get negative comments about most of the things that I do. But I realize those negative comments, they're just little nuances, little avoidance, people that really, they have nothing else to do. They have nothing else to say. They're going to say negative things to try to discourage me for not doing this anymore. And that's what happens a lot of times in life. We hear these negative comments and we stop going forward. We stop doing what we're supposed to be doing because we think, oh, they're the experts. They know better than I do. But we're not loving ourselves first. We're not loving ourselves, and we're not really loving ourselves by listening to what someone else says and stopping to our goal and getting better and better each day. And that's what it's all about, is eliminating things that are going to prevent you from going forward in life. Because a lot of times as I look at myself, I hear those negative voices. Instead of using them as fuel to get better and better in life, what we do is we say, okay, I guess they were right. Just my podcast, or I guess the pilot license I was going after is really not that big of a deal. I really don't need to do that. I need to do something else. Like, I guess they're right. And they're determining, the thing is, when you believe in that stuff and you talk about that stuff, they are, determining what your life is all about. They are controlling your life. You're not controlling your life. The negative thoughts, the fears, and everything else that you're going through is, they are controlling what you are doing. So it's sad, but you see that so much, and you see so much negativity that's around you, and it's controlling you every step that you can. I found myself today, I had a little problem with something, and I found myself in that negative realm. I found myself getting to that negative point, and my brain was telling me, oh, this is it. This is the big one right here. This is the one that's going to take you under right here. And I thought to myself, where did you get that stuff from? I said, let's stop all that nonsense about being negative. This is the big one. This is what's going to take you under. So I kept working at the problem. And then eventually I said, okay, I got the tools. I got everything I need. Pulled the tools out. Took 2 seconds to fix it. And then I went about my way. But when it was not working, the person who was beside me was like, oh, okay, I guess he's not going to be able to fix it. I guess I just, blah, blah, blah. I fixed it, and then the thing is, that person never said, oh, good job. Man, that was pretty quick. They just said, oh, okay, good for you. You got lucky. Yeah, that's all you are. It's just a bunch of luck. But it wasn't. It's skill. And, I said, you know what? Don't look for someone to give you positive comments all the time. People love to dish out negative comments. And I was thinking about myself the last couple months. I've been in a kind of in a funk because I've been doing other projects for other people, and they're really not my passions. They're someone else's passion. And I've been listening to just a lot of negative self-talk on the radio when I go to work or podcast. And I don't think the people who are producing it are trying to be negative, but it just got me sour. It got me into that lull that negative comments were riding around with me. So I turned on something that's more uplifting. That's going to get me motivated, something that's going to keep me going, something that's going to make me excited about life. In the last few weeks, I've been, okay, all right, let's go. And I've been getting myself more energized. And I realized it was all that negative talk that was fulfilling in my brain. And I said, okay, that's the trick. That is the trick we have to do, is eliminate a lot of that garbage that's in your mind. Eliminate that negative mistakes. Every week in my neighborhood, we have the trash truck that comes around. And I kind of know about what time he's going to come, or he or she. Usually it's on a Thursday about 9:30, and I've been living there about 8-9 years. So I kind of can rest a little bit and, get him out there about 8 o'clock every Thursday. But somehow or another, a couple weeks ago, I heard this sound coming down the road, and I said, well, it's about 7:30. What's going on? I said, they're going to pick up the other cans. Nope, they're picking up the trash. What happened is they got another person on the route, and they're coming earlier now. So that told me, I said, okay, all right. Just like you have to do is eliminate some of that negative trash that you have every Thursday. Sometimes you got to get up a little bit earlier to eliminate some of that negative stuff that's going on in your brain. And that's what it's all about, is everyone's going to run into negative comments, talks, whatever you're going to do. You can either, like myself, was getting to the point where I was like, okay, maybe I do believe some of this stuff. No, you just keep pushing. You keep pushing yourself and eventually it will go away. And the last thing we have to do is, and as I look at what I have to get done, is all about, and I heard this when I was younger, and I thought that was really, really, I was like, that's way out there. It's all about that self-talk. Having that self-talk that you have to have with yourself. And you don't have to be out in the middle of the street telling yourself this and this, this and that. But internally, you got to, every time you hear that negative thought, you have to turn yourself into a positive thought. You have to turn, not just talk, but images in your head. I'm having this image in my head. A couple weeks ago, I was at this, in California, we had this place called Marina Del Rey. And I was out there and I was working, doing a few things for some people. And I looked up and it was this huge, huge yacht. And I didn't know it was in front of me. And I was just, had my head down and I looked up and I saw this huge yacht that was right in front of me. And I was like, good Lord, look at this thing right here in front of me. It's just massive. And I just sat there for about 15 minutes in awe of this thing. And I told myself all the positive things that person, and I'm, just because you have a yacht doesn't make you better or whatever. And I'm just thinking all the positive things that I could say about this yacht. And as I looked at it and I was like, wow. And I'm just amazed how I say, wow, who owns that yacht? I would love to meet them. I hope, I know they're positive about their thing. And then there's something else negative coming in my mind. It's like, the person who probably owns that yacht is just probably just miserable in life. And that's when that self-talk, like, you know what? Maybe that person who owns that yacht is having the time of their life. Why can't that be you who owns that yacht? With that negative talk and that self-talk that's negative, you're never going to get anywhere. And I talk to people all the time. And a lot of times I realize I was telling this one person, I go, wow, you are extremely smart. You're really bright. And they told me, no, I'm not. I'm dumb. And I was like, wow, where do you learn that trash from? They go, I'm dumb. I go, no, you're pretty intelligent. And I realized that some people, they have trained themselves to have that negative talk no matter what someone tells them. And I realized that people who are successful in life have that positive, self-motivating talk. And they don't have to tell everyone about how smart they are. They just know deep down inside they have something different in them. As I'm around certain people, and as I watch certain people, and I'm amazed by certain people, I realize that the more that I tell myself these positive things, and I imagine these positive images that are coming through my head, things are better. But if I'm not telling myself this stuff, if I'm not cheerleading myself on, I can't wait for someone else to cheerlead me on. What I mean by cheerleading myself on is I have to pump myself up. I can wait for my wife, my mother, my father, my sister, my brother-in-law. They can pump me up as much as they want to. But you got to realize it's kind of like that tire. You put air in it, and eventually you got to put more air in it. It'll go down, put more air in it, put more air in it. And you got to do that with yourself. When you're giving yourself that self-talk, you're like blowing up your tires and making them nice, and so the car rolls better. But if you're not doing that on a daily basis, because some people, I'll be honest with you, it's like that tire, like I keep saying. If you keep puncturing your tire with nails and air's coming out of your tires, you're going to be on the flat. You're going to think that, wow, whatever I'm doing is not good enough. And I'm not saying everything that I do works out, but the thing is, I got to be persistent. I got to be persistent with my self-talks. I got to tell myself, yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough. Let's get this done. Stop being unmotivated and get it done. Because what happens is that self-talk is the main thing that holds everyone back. And I was listening to this person, and there's some people in this world who their self-talk is just amazing. We have this person in our country, and all they talk about is themselves all the time. And I tell myself, wow, what gives them the right? I say, you know what? It may not be true, but at least they're able to say it. Maybe I don't agree with that person, but check them out. They're saying it enough and then realize people are like, oh yeah, I believe in you too. But if you don't have that self-talk, don't ask for much. Don't ask for much in life. So as we wrap up this podcast today, I want to thank you for stopping by and visiting and listening and giving us a chance. I know you have other podcasts you can listen to, but as we talk about ourselves, you love yourself first. Just remember, put yourself first in every situation. Put yourself first and everything should be fine. Even if it's a group thing, step out there, put yourself out there. You'll be okay. Eliminate those small, but sometimes negative thoughts that people are going to give you. And lastly, have that self-talk with yourself that's going to boost you up. And every day, when you see things that aren't going right, instead of going whoa and no and all this other stuff, say, yes, it's going to happen. Yes, I can get myself out of the situation. Because a lot of the situation that you're in, you're not going to eliminate until you have that self-positive talk. All right. Well, we'll see you on the next one. And thank you for coming by. Bye-bye.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.